Welcome to this month's small group extended version video, going a little bit deeper into the topic that Chuck just went over. This month's topic is the cross. Chuck did a great job in explaining the cross. We all know it, we all see it every Sunday in church, we see it all over the place, as Chuck even said, in jewelry, above churches, in various places throughout the world, obviously most commonly in church. But it's interesting to see the different depictions of the cross and the different meanings that people portray with the vision or the view of the cross. So we're going to go through a little bit of that, expand on what Chuck had said and go a little bit deeper. It's a little bit shorter tonight on this particular video because we have a bunch of other videos that also detail and talk about the cross as well that I thought were pretty good, and we wanted to give you time to review those videos and or articles to go with it, and hopefully along the way we'll have some commentary and discussion amongst it. So let's get started. So I love this title I threw out there as far as a thing that only God can take a tragedy and turn it into hope. God can take the worst of times and make them into a way to understand, to love, to show His love for us. It's amazing when we feel like we're down in the dumps and we've hit the lowest point in our lives, how God can take that particular moment and turn it into hope, praise, a way that He shows His divineness to us and how much He loves us. So even in the midst of tragedy, He's able to do these things. So that's what I think is pretty cool about the whole concept if we look at it from that point of view. And we'll talk about it a few times during this video. A lot of things happen based upon our point of view, which also makes the relationship with God that much more personal, because I'm going to look at things differently than somebody else will. The cross was a symbol of slavery and embarrassment. When you were going to the cross, it was embarrassing. You were being publicly executed, and that was part of the demeanor of this whole concept of crucifixion, where you were going to be put on public display. You were being killed in front of everybody to make a point, to make a reason for this purpose of you being executed. So it was definitely a very, very negative connotation to the whole concept of the cross itself. I can remember a story, and I don't know of any biblical backing to it, but about the wood being made of dogwood, and it used to be a tall tree, and because of this purpose, because of this negativity on which the tree was used to crucify Jesus, that it was stunted, and it wasn't, you obviously see dogwoods now, not the illustrious oaks and stuff, but a smaller sprouted tree. And again, it all comes from the perception or the connotation of the negativity of killing Jesus on the cross, or the crucifixion itself, of the meaning of it. However, again, with God taking that tragedy and that negativity and turning it around, the cross wasn't able to hold Jesus. This torture, this pain, this unbearable account that He went through was turned into a positive, uplifting, how they were able to prove that Jesus was the Son of God by Him rising from the dead. So again, this was meant for pain, torture, negativity, and all of that, and God was able to turn that whole thing around and make it a praise to Him. Now, Jesus is on the cross. There's different ways it's viewed. A lot of places you can see it where He's on the cross. Other places you see where He's not on the cross. And we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. As far as it being such a powerful symbol, when you see a cross, people around the world automatically associate that with being a Christian. How powerful is that? One symbol, one picture can elicit that much emotion, that much thought, that much meaning behind it. And that's why it's such a powerful thing, and why we see it on the Bible, we see it in churches. It's a huge symbol of Christianity and what it means to be a Christian, to follow Christ. Peter was actually on the cross as well. And initially, when I was doing research for another uh, presentation on the Chrismon tree, I saw the inverted cross, and I'm looking at him like my gut. And again, looking at the powerful symbol of it, when you see it, you have emotion, you have understanding, you have a picture in your head of what it's about and the meaning. When I saw that, my first gut instinct was, whoa, what's this doing on the Chrismon tree? This is like negative. This is bad. This is like cult stuff. This is like anti-Christian. And then I did more research, and what I found was there were some texts that actually said that Peter requested this. Peter requested to be crucified when he was being crucified upside down. And the reason was a very, very noble one, and that was he didn't feel he was worthy enough to be crucified just like Jesus was. Had nothing to do with the symbol and the different connotations after that, because there are a lot of other sects, cults, and religions that do use the upside down cross, but the meaning behind it was he didn't feel that he was as worthy as Jesus was to be crucified like that. And again, we see it from different movie clips, which are near and dear that I enjoy, but things are done from a certain point of view. You can look at it from this point of view with the Peter and understand, like, hey, you know what, this isn't a bad symbol. However, it could be turned to be looked at other things. So that's why it's important when we're looking at symbols and we're looking at different things within Christianity, within the church, within our relationship with God, that we know the meaning that we are taking from it. Because again, depending upon your point of view, it could be looked at differently. Some people might use it in one way, and other people use it another way. So understanding the symbolism behind it and the meaning can be very important. The cross and the tomb. Not only is the cross, and we'll get to the cross and the tomb together, not only is the cross shown in different ways, which we'll see, but we see the cross with Jesus on it and without Jesus. And as Chuck mentioned, and he did such a great job with that, it can be looked at in two different ways. Jesus was on the cross, and that him being on there shows us that he died for our sins. He bled, and that blood cleansed our sins. So we could now talk directly with God, and our sins and all the bad things we've done can be forgiven. So reminding us of that sacrifice is instrumental. It's crucial that somebody would do that for us, and that God would do that with his Son for us. So that is a powerful picture of him being on there, and I think important as well. But the other coin, where Jesus is not on the cross, shows the resurrection power and shows that he was able to defeat death and rise from the dead, showing that he was the Son of God. So that is an incredibly important picture as well. So no matter how the cross is displayed, the importance of the meaning behind it is what we need to remember. And all those God sightings that we talk about, things that remind us of God, I can't think of better ones than this, reminding us of the sacrifice and the power of God. A lot of times the cross is shown with the tomb. So we can show both those meanings together, showing that he died for our sins, but the cross is empty, and so is the tomb, because he rose from the dead. So having those pictures together are important as well. It's another great way to show his love for us and the meaning of the cross. So what does the cross look like? Okay, this is one of those matching games. Which one's the right one? Potentially they all could be, depending upon your point of view and your background and your history. And one of the things I looked up that I was curious about, because I had read some different things about what the cross actually looked like. And looking in the Bible Dictionary and Concordance, I came across a section for the cross, and it says it's an ancient instrument used for capital punishment. After the crucifixion of Christ, it became a Christian symbol of redemption. And that goes back to the blood cleansing our sins. The New Testament has no indication of the form of the cross for which Christ died. Traditionally, uniformly refers to the Roman cross. Other variations were used. Crucifixion was regarded as a ignoramus death. It was also an accursed death. The Christian symbol of the cross is in various forms. the Roman cross, the Latin cross, the St. Andrew's cross, which is a crossed X, the Greek cross, which looks very similar to the second cross on there that we're synonymous, or you see synonymous with the Red Cross. So there's a lot of different ones on there. There's also one listed here is a triple cross used by a Russian sect. The Pope using a double cross. So there's different ones. I like the one, or it's a piece of one of the Chrismon ones, that last one, where you have the cross. But there's also another one where it has the shepherd's hook, has the Alpha and the Omega, with the cross being the center of this whole Chrismon symbol, with all the different meanings. I like it because there's so many different meanings all within this one Chrismon. So that is really cool as well. So the cross can look like a lot of different things. And again, depending upon your point of view and the historical value with that. Alright, that kind of sums it up. Here's some of the resources that were used for this, so you guys can dig even deeper than we did. Hope you enjoyed the other videos that we have, and that you'll join us again next month for another Chuck Knows Church and small group.